that not scared about assassins because you have the passive anyway. So if you get bursted, you still have the passive. And also, your Molina is actually very strong against assassins. Like if you time it well, it's easy to control the assassin. So that's that. And an immediate Claude from
And
Fireflux
Claude,
Esports.
wow, and the Nolan is still open, and the Arlot, like, I like the energy of that kind of draft when, like, Burn wanted to kind of dictate the narrative of the draft, and Fireflux kind of don't even bother to think about this kind of stuff and just pick what they want. This is a good sign of confidence.
Yeah. Well, Burnix Flash will just pick up the Vexana because they know that there's no Valentina potential anymore from Fireflux Esports, so they're okay. Picking up the Vexana this time. Okay, a decent laner compared to the Nana. Fredrin is their choice for their utility jungler. Although there's a chance that this can be flexed, but for now that's what they wanted to pick up. I do feel that just imagine if Burnix Flash secures the Arlet eventually later on. Look at the combo. You have Fredrin plus the Ruby, so much CC. So that means that the Arlet will have unlimited vengeance. So that's something that I can expect that Burnix Flash can look in the future. For now, Fireflux with the X-Borg. What's up with this? Everybody's just picking up X-Borg recently.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, it's a strong hero. It's like we discussed about the Ruby. It's not that. I mean, it's flashy, of course, when it's like spins and explodes. It's flashy, but I mean, he cannot burst the target really fast, and he's more like of support kind of things, damage support. Like, I don't know, when he builds the slow, he shines. He shines.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the Ruby and the Fredrin. Just burn the front lane, slow them down, make for your team the opportunities for better attacks, and nobody prioritizes Arlot and Nolan. And that's actually understandable. That's like we discussed earlier. It's the player who plays the hero, right? It's not the hero who wins the game. So you can go for like just good hero on paper, and if you can play it.
And a very smart pickup here coming out from Burnix Flash. They banned out the Tigreal because it's a hero that also allows the wombo combo, the big combos that we have. And imagine like the Tigreal with Nana, the ultimate, the last insanity, and as well as the Blazing Duet. It's just a big AoE coming out from Fireflux Esports, and you don't want to have that if you're Burnix Flash. So yeah, it's a good ban.
And the front laner are easy to catch, like Fredrin and Ruby, kind of easy to make implosion on them. Like yesterday's, we, as you mentioned, we casted different groups, and there was match Twisted Minds versus I kind of
Twisted Minds
forgot, but they was winning unexpectedly winning all of the game against Blacklist, I guess, and then implosion four people implosion, actually like almost 5 people implosion completely changed the game, and the game was finished right there. That was so unfortunate. So I get the Tigreal ban, and it's always the factor, like, you know, Atlas Tigreal, these kind of ultimates can always 180
change the game. Yeah, I agree. So now Fireflux Esports are going to be looking for their roamer as well as their junglers.
That's unexpected. Nathan ban.
Yeah, it's a strong hero now. I think that we saw it's great versus the Claude because the thing is, the Claude cannot pick up the Wind of Nature anymore because the Nathan deals magic damage, and then Nathan can just pick up the Wind of Nature and you're fine. With the Martis picked up here, I do feel that Burnix Flash can consider taking Arlet, and then maybe they need a hard carry at the late game that can go up against this this Claude. So probably a carry, actually. Or if they want a 1-1.
Carry, it seems like they want them to pick carry. But if they go for carry, they like kind of all of melee damage type of heroes,
range,
like, you know, short range. So maybe this is going to be big if X-Borg going to get his slow pretty fast, maybe second item, and It's going to be a problem for Burn.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bruno, that's a good one.
Yeah, Bruno. Yeah, it's a very stable laner. And as expected, it's the Arlot. Imagine there's a lot of crowd control from Ruby, Fredrin, as well as Vexana. You have Unlimited Vengeance now. And for Fireflux, might consider something like Rafaela or Diggy, actually, because of the crowd control that's present in Burnex Flash. But
Maybe Minotaur, actually. Maybe Minotaur.
Yes. That's
Good
what I
as
wanted
well.
to bring up as well. Because
Like
there needs
three
to be someone in the
heroes.
front lines, right?
But Rafaela is good as well, just like you mentioned. Maybe even Angela as well. Like just slow them down, and in this kind of draft, Burn are going to rely heavily on the like Ruby's I'm Offended plus Flicker and the Phantom Slash of Arlot plus Flicker, initiation and fast kill. But hey, there's the Minotaur here.
Well done, War Barbie. It makes a lot of sense why they picked it up, because it's like you said, the crowd control and the front lining for the team, and this is a very comfortable composition for Fireflux. It really looks like a lineup that Fireflux likes to pick up. They want to group up together and just make sure that they take advantage of the AOE. So there's really no hero that can take out the Minotaur from the side of Burnex Flash. But I'm thinking just like, surely they have these sustainable or ramp kind of damage, right? They don't have the big bursts.
Yeah,
Of course,
it's like
Bruno-
grinder versus grinder.
Exactly. Which we know that the Minotaur really likes to play, right? So, I think all things considered, I do feel that it's Fireflux that has the better draft.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this way as well. The only thing Fireflux need to be careful is to not get snowball. Because if they do, Minotaur suddenly gonna tank zero tankiness.
Yeah.
He's going to be zero tankiness, and he's gonna be focused while casting his ultimate. So this is basically the only thing they need to watch out for.
Yeah, I will agree with you. So now it's Burnex Flash, very important early game, but we know that they also play a mean late game, right? At least when it comes to when we're just like talking about the overall play style of the team. Like if
I think they are focused around mid-game, I think, and the Retribution aggressively goes into the enemy jungle here, stealing from the Red Ring this little Ursa minion, and goes straight away back to his own jungle, Marcus. It looks like a small X minion going to die as well, and this slightly pressured here the experienced lane, but no gold shell is going to be farmed. Arlot can safely farm his almost level 4, but here the Burn team goes into the turtle to help his teammate to get safe level 4. And here Sam's exchanges trying to get Firaga Armon out of the X-Planer, not being able to do, and maybe, no, Last Insanity wasn't popped, and the Firaga Armor is down, and that's opened a good opportunity to pressure the Turtle here. Almost level 4, the old Minotaur, the Manon Rage, and here the Phantom Slash plus Flicker going to initiate straight on the Nana, proccing her passive, forcing to use Flicker and go back. Meanwhile, Fredrin getting the Turtle, and the fight continues. The Burn is stacked up on the Arlot, I mean the Xbox Burn, stacked up through damage, and Arlot is dead. And there's an opportunity to farm some gold on the bot lane, or probably Xborg gonna decide to go back and regen his Firaga, and that's exactly what he's doing. But that's a pretty solid start from Fireflux Esports here. But if you look on the gold chart, it's kind of only like 500 gold, so that's not very much, but that's at least something. That's a not bad start from the experience perspective. And ultimate is not ready on the Minotaur yet. Here's some aggression from the Fredrin on the enemy jungler, which is Mart is going to probably rotate the X-Plane here. On the X-Plane, there's some exchanges as well between the laners, but gold lane is probably the one who's being focused here. Nice initiation on the Minotaur here. All of the CC comes from all of the heroes and couldn't kill him in time, and he forced to use his Manon Rage just to save the retreat, and that's exactly what he did. And when Burn saw like all of this rotation, Martis and the Nana, they decided just to retreat.
Wow, I'm just amazed on the decision making from Apex 47. He went in for the flicker to move forward so that Vexana ultimate will not hit him, so he survives and actually hits 3 heroes. That's why there's a little bit of a spell but vamp in there. And then he went out because of the quantum charge, walking it off. That's amazing coming out from Apex 47. Really, really good plays.
And Burn is Flash overall very, very good at using Bruno early game potential. That's exactly what you want to do. This is like Popol and Koopa type of heroes who fast pushes the turret, so you kind of want to use all of this potential, and that's exactly going to happen. On top lane is being pushed already, and probably we're going to see some lane swap right now.
Yeah. And Burn X Flash, even after having 2 deaths, will be leading for now. Oh, I'm your ATM going for Rosa. Rosa, they have the passive. It's not being held up by Minoan, by the Minotaur. And look at... My ATM is punished. Rindo eventually takes over this turtle, the objective. But Tienzi is still in here. Who takes it? It's Rindo to take the turtle. But then again, Fireflux did not lose any of their heroes.
Yeah, but it was kind of winning the time for the team to take the turtle, prioritize the turtle, and the Bruno rotating from the top lane. Last Insanity used defensively, but in the last second used kind of offensively, and the Ruby is gonna fall from the true damage, and the Manon Rage on the Bruno, almost killing him, but not quite enough. It could be a good kill, but Martis isn't finished yet, and no, only turret is being pressured.
They'll probably just push bottom. They don't have many minions anymore. KLVJ wants to survive but cannot do so. Good juggling, in fact, from Fireflux Esports. They're playing so well, 5-0 at the start of this game. And even after that, though, I gotta say, Burning Smash, because of their macro, they are equalizing the gold.
It seems like the fights are going for the Fireflux Esports, but the macro game is on the side on Burn X Flash, and the Bruno is so big factor. He have already almost 5k gold, which is like 1,000 more from the enemy gold laner, and now you really want to use it. Like, you want to use it, you want to create the tower falls and map control, and I like the mana boot as well on the Bruno, actually.
Yeah. But even when it comes to the gold, when it comes to kills, Fireflux Esports have their own advantage. Bottom lane, just a little bit of pressure put out by Burn X Flash, but with 4 members of Fireflux, there will not be any happenings around. It could be a little bit in the mid lane, as the Claude will just go for a double lane setup.
Yeah, he need to recover his farm a lot, because and the top lane is being pushed by the Arlet. Minions are already dying under the turret, and Claude taking like super safe rotation, but Manon Fury with the flicker gonna focus down this Bruno. Goodness. And the Vexana's ultimate actually hitting 2 people. The mini Lord is spawned, getting aggroed by the Xborg, and just retreated.
Yeah. Turtle fight still ensues for Fireflux. I'm your ATM onto the back lines. No more Minoan Fury, but they did take out Owl. And Alien is taking a lot of damage. Fighter Slash not going to connect onto anyone. They're actually chunking down this Fredrin low, but the Fredrin still gets it. Rindo takes the turtle and then runs away to safety. And Fireflux Esports.
Like all the team just stepped his ultimate.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Claude is taking top turret. That's exactly what he wanted to. It's like 4 minions on top, double ballista and the tower, and he goes jungle. And he really needs to recover his farm, while his team is going to kind of stop Bruno for this from this snowball, and that's exactly what is happening here.
Yeah. A little bit of an exchange there from both teams. And if we're looking at the gold laners. Sunshine is catching up a little bit, but he still is 1,000 gold behind the Bruno. Be a little bit of a pause for now, and I do like I like what I'm seeing from both teams. In fact, because you're seeing Fireflux play well when it comes to their initiations, their micro gameplay, but when it comes to the overall macro, the objective, the taking potential, definitely gonna be siding towards Burnix Flash. So that's the difference in playstyle between the two teams that we have right now, or Barbie.
Yeah, and that's kind of unexpected to see because Fireflux has the Cloud, which has the upper hand in terms of rotation, like and maneuvering around the map and farming. And he's the one who should like kind of split push, like we saw on the top lane. But he needed to do it kind of a little bit earlier, so he wouldn't have this kind of gold disadvantage from the Bruno. But on the other hand, they have the Xborg, which farmed already like 2 items, and his thing now he like underestimated Burn underestimated Xborg on the bot lane, tried to kill him, and he wanted to like retreat using his incentive, but he's like, wow, I'm actually doing damage. So he's like returned and exploded on 2 people, and eventually they are dead. So Xborg here is going to be a factor, because like third item he might go for either immortality of the or the Queen's Wand, but who knows, we'll see. If he gets this slow earlier, like, it's going to be a problem for Burn.
Yeah, and you know, when we're looking at the particular clashes, it's very micro intensive. Like even the positioning coming up from Minotaur, and the timing is just all so crucial, and that's what you have to watch out for in this matchup. We are going to be returning into the game slowly and surely. We're going to find out what are the next steps for both teams. Seems like the power of this Vexana is that you can poke, but when it comes to commit, in comes TNZ. He takes a 1, actually Rosa to get the last hit. But that means that they will be able to get one here. That's a lot of damage indeed.
Yeah, Ruby can tank. And slowly it seems like, Nas Phantom Slash gonna proc down Firaga armor and try to actually hit him after the roll, but he used the flicker to safety.
Yeah. That is immortality, if I'm not mistaken, from Alien, 1-0-4. And you have to really look out for these final slashes. So far, Ymir ATM has been a little bit 50-50 when it comes to connecting, but when he hits, it's always very impactful.
Yeah, and it seems like 1.5 or 2 more minutes and Burn are gonna have a lot of problems, because Nana gonna burst them down. 3 melee heroes can be countered by the Manon's Rage and the Xborg. So I don't know, looks kind of bad for me for Burn.
We'll see. Apex 47 now gonna land the 3-man Manon Fury, and in comes the damage from Alien. They're not committing the ultimate just yet. But that is going to be 1 out. Your ATM is out. Tienzi wants to go for Rindo. But that means that Burnix Flash will just retreat the healing as well as the initiations coming up from Apex 47 becoming on point. Lord Dance still ensues. And Fireflux may have controlled this first Lord.
That's very nice from Tienzi to not go for the Rindo here, to trying to finish him off, just like we discussed the rhythm control. Just went for the safe Lord, and now attack on Ruby. Gonna dodge the I'm Offended with the second skill as well, and with a Mortal Coil, and just go for the jungle kill and set up the Lord pressure.
Yeah. Well done from Fireflux Esports. Burnix Flash yet to get a kill. And we did say that there will be a little bit of a problem for Burnix Flash to find the kills because of the sustain of Fireflux. Maybe when Owl is online, that's when they can find their openings. For now, Burnix Flash, all they can do is to defend.
Yeah, and they are doing it quite well, using Vexana's ultimate though on the mid lane, but still securing the defense. The Arlot on top is being bursted down by the Martis and the blazing duet of Claude, and the bottom lane tower as well. Lord is working on the minions, trying to going for, I mean, he obviously gonna go for the tier 3 turret after that, but will his team follow him?
Well, find out. This is a push. The Lord is still available. Owl is there. In comes the hook, but that's Apex 47 at tanky Minotaur. Oh, last insanity from Alien. Just
that's kind of late, because I mean you should use it a little bit earlier to not let burn death the Lord and potentially go for the turret. But now you have the second wave of mega means, but the Fireflux actually decided to kind of retreat, even though they have Manon Rage, they have Flicker on the Minotaur. In my opinion, they should try to went for mid and for bot again, but wherever they decided to go safely and farm a little bit, that's understandable. I wouldn't say that's a mistake, because they have such a great advantage in terms of draft here, so they don't need to rush things.
Yeah, can just relax for now.
Yeah, relax.
But now we're looking at eventually the damage item from Alien. I mean, Alien has been very active in this map, and we didn't even notice that he's actually well farmed now. He's 7.9k compared to 6.1k of I'm Your ATM. Just like that, you know, and it would look like Alien is just, you know, always getting taken out, or the Firago armor always being popped by Burnix Flash. But because he's always in the fight, he's already up with 3 items, and that's very important for the Fireflux Esports.
Yeah, I'm just now thinking for the Vixana pick, it's kind of, I don't know, they not doing much here. It seems like the Lunox maybe wouldn't been better, because they kind of need this front lane damage to be able to compete in terms of this grinder. I'm offended, plus the Flicker, and the Vixana follows with her own ultimate, but the counter attack by the Manon on range, and the Mart is going rampage with his own ultimate, and the last insanity follows 2 people, blazing duet on all of them, and the 4 people are down, and Fredrin only one who left standing here, uses his jump under the turret, but turret is gonna fall probably by the back door here, and the mid lane is gonna fall, and it might be GG here.
It might be GG. Burnix Flash, they don't have any heroes to defend this. Rosa even commits the flicker for this one. They're zoning out Rindo. The defense will not be enough. Wow, Fireflux. When you said that they are acting more than they're thinking, this time I think they're thinking while they're acting. Their decisions are smart. They're so efficient, man.
Yeah, super great. I mean, they won this game in terms of drafting. From my perspective, the only way to win the game for the Burn, it's like early pressure, more aggression, trying to use that Bruno, which they did actually on top, but then he get like ganked 2 times, and they couldn't maintain this kind of pressure, and there's the point when Fireflux kind of equalized and eventually prevail.
Wow. I mean, like, it's literally one team fight that we can see, but through the highlights, it's always Apex 47. I think he is bona fide the MVP for this game. Look at his initiations. Eventually, Rindo was able to take the turtle, but you're gonna see back to back, he is always consistently hitting all of his shots. And also Alien is also on point. Look at that, Apex 47 was utilizing the flicker. It's always on point.
Super great, but that's kind of like, you know, that's a good stuff. All of CC went just in the face of Martis, but they didn't quite manage to kill him, and the counter attack with Manon Rage was so on point, and the last Insanity plus Blazing Duet, just like you mentioned before this game starts, is going to be a big deal, like way too much for the Burn can handle.
Oh, unbelievable. And we can see MVP is TNZ, 6-0-4. Maybe because he dealt the most damage when it comes to damage spread, but I think that there's so many other good plays that you saw from other players from Fireflux. I mean, I'm not downplaying what TNZ was able to do, because his aggression actually opened up the map so much for Fireflux. But Apex 47 as well as Alien, the way that they're dominating.
Yeah, Alien, I agree on the Alien.
So good. So, yeah, I mean, we were so impressed about what this export was able to do in this game.
Yeah, but more like I'm impressed by the draft. It seems
I
like
agree. I agree.
Fireflux knew what Burn want to draft, and they kind of in advance drafted the heroes who are
Yeah.
going to be super uncomfortable, because three melee heroes, which is like Ruby, Fredrin, and Arlott, are actually not that high on mobility. I mean, they have some jumps, they have some mobility, but Exborg solo and Martis can solo counter these three heroes because of the Firaga armor and the true damage potential here. They are not that tanky, and the Minotaur on top of that, plus Nana, who can easily burst these kind of heroes as well. I mean, they need a lot of farm to kind of counter Nana. And yeah, so in terms of draft, I think Fireflux went like there is a place where they shined the most, and later it came only the matter of execution, which they are masters.
Yeah. I do like what how they utilize this composition that they have. It's more the sustain side, and the way that they're maneuvering around the map was just way too good. And there was also a time where they rotated into the gold lane and they successfully dove Owl and was able to take him down, and then they took out KelVJ as well to eventually push the bottom lane. It was very smart because they are also taking some part of the map. However, Burnix Flash, I gotta have to give it to them. Their macro in the early stages of the game was actually really good. Like, even when they're losing like 5 of their heroes, they're still taking over the map. They're still winning when it comes to the economy. It's just that in the bigger objectives, like when the Lord timing is there, that is when they suffered, because they fought 5v5 against a team that excels in a 5v5 scenario.
And but I think to win, in order to win, Burns should do even more. Like, they should not enjoying with these like small victories. They need to like snowball from the small to the bigger victories, and they kind of like enjoying the small ones. And against this kind of draft wasn't enough, absolutely, because just like I mentioned sometimes, let's say Esmeralda, for example, right? Sometimes it's kind of hero who run around killing everyone and being tanky, and nobody can focus her, yeah? But sometimes is a type of hero who deals no damage and actually being focused pretty easily. So this is exactly this type of situation for Burning Splash. They have three heroes, who is Ruby, Fredrin, and Arlott. They might be the heroes who is unbeatable and killing everyone, but on the other hand, they might be the heroes who are dealing zero damage and not that tanky. And you really want to have much more snowball earlier to make these three heroes basically a damage tanks. So not realizing this kind of thing in the moment, I think that's because of the tournament pressure. Actually, $1 million prize here, and some stuff are going out of the site.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to look back at Burnix Flash, because I was able to cast their games yesterday. It was up against Sonic. They were really strong in the latter portion of the game, like 15 minutes to 18 minutes of the game. They're on point even after 20 minutes. But for the last 3 games that I've seen Burnix Flash play, 1 against Fireflux, 2 against Onyx, their early game, they're always dominated by their opponents. Onyx destroyed them in back-to-back games in the early stages, but they recovered. And in this case, it's also true. Fireflux just didn't let go of the pressure, and they overwhelmed the side of Burnix Flash. So I think now we can really say that there are the problem that Burnix Flash is suffering from now is the early game, right? They're not finding the good opening, so they're giving so much to their opponents. Surely they, in this particular game, they eventually found the proper macro, but micro-wise, when you're looking at the individual plays you're seeing from the members of Burnix Flash, it looks really awkward and it looks really inefficient. So that's one thing that they should be improving on.
Like, and yeah, I agree on this one. They kind of didn't understood their like own draft and the enemy draft. So in my eyes, Burnix Flash had this like early to mid game draft. So the spike of power spike, let's say, of their draft is on the like more like early to mid range of the game, while Fire Flux's draft seems like leaning towards mid to late game. Of course, they have like this Vixana who can like late game maybe do a little bit more, but how do you expect to win this kind of draft in the late game? That is the question, and it goes to like no aggression early, like so. Yeah. They not understanding that they are on the clock because they fighting against clock, because late games they probably gonna lose just because they never gonna kill anyone and the enemy are having so much better grinder of the front lane, basically. So they should understand this, and they like kind of should play all in, and then trying to make like 8-minute lord going into inhibitor turret, something like that. So not understanding it, or maybe like, you know, the situation when they understand it but they kind of like think it's going to be different and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I think I do understand what you just said. So, with all things considered here for Burnix Flash, it's more about their understanding, or you know, like troubleshooting along the way. There's nothing you can do anymore about the draft anymore because it's already done. It was already done. You know that the Minotaur was a great pick from the opponents. So what do you do afterwards? You try to solve it. They didn't put more focus on their gold lane. That's why Owl did not or wasn't able to output the damage that was needed in the team fights in the mid game. So imagine if it was different. Imagine if the Bruno had so much more damage out. And I think you mentioned this in the early stages. If the snowball was there from Burnix Flash, the Minotaur cannot do Minotaur things. In fact,
he cannot just
taken out.
Just be there in the front lane. He cannot. And but the funny part is that Bruno actually had the snowball. Like, we witnessed him going more than 1k gold on the Claude, having two of his main items, which is Husk Claws and the Berserker Rage. And like, Burn should like flip the switch at that point, like kind of run with Bruno and try to like gank more using of his damage and potential, but they kind of didn't do that, and eventually Fire Flux like ganked him like 2 times, killed him on a bot lane, and later in the game, and he's done.
Yeah, I think, you know, if we look back at that game, there's so many things that we can really pinpoint, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. So this is some things that we can actually prescribe to Burnix Flash, because I think that game, it didn't look close in right up during the first Lord onwards, right? Remember when there was a little bit of a pause? Right after the pause, it looked really one-sided already. It was quick afterwards. But before the pause, we saw that it was a little bit close. We're not saying that it was because of the pause that Flux was able to win. But it's just that it just coincided with that factor. But yeah, what I'm trying to say here is there was a big flip of the switch when we saw the timings out there coming out from Fire Flux. And this speaks volumes to the in-game knowledge that we can see from Fire Flux, because it kind of felt like they knew their timings so well, War Barbie. It kind of felt like, okay, we only have to wait for 3 items on the Xborg, 2 items on your Minotaur, and whatever item you have for the Claude, let's just fight, right? And then they fought, and you see the damage output that they had.
Yeah, the patience was there, and they kind of understood that Burn, they are actually not pressuring us that much, so we can kind of like, that's fine. But we saw that like 5 kills is like a lot from the start of the game. Maybe Burn tried to play more aggressively, eventually doing mistake, which resulted them of being picked. No, like, just like on Xborg, like two people going for the Xborg, trying to kill him, but actually not understanding he gonna lost insanity and full stacks and explosion, and that's two casualties for you.
Yeah. So, I think that if Burnix Flash aren't able to answer that kind of understanding from Fireflux, this could easily be a 2-0. And I'm saying that not because I want to see a game number 3, but I'm saying that because I know for sure that this is not the Burnix Flash that we know. I know that there's still a lot in the tank for them. And here we go into the draft of game number 2. Fireflux now on the blue side. So they now banned the Arlot themselves.
That's a good ban to do, but like last game, Arlot didn't do much. There was a good Phantom Slash on the bottom lane turtle, as far as I remember, but otherwise, besides that, he didn't do a lot. But still get banned though.
Yeah. So it's going to be Matilda because we know Fireflux Esports likes those kind of sustain heroes. And this is interesting because Fireflux now bans out the Novaria, even when it was Burnix Flash that banned the Novaria in first game. But if you recall, KelVJ actually plays really good Novaria. So they're really respecting what KelVJ is able to do.
And that's absolutely understandable, but yeah. I mean, when they pick Vixana last game, you kind of wanted them go for Vixana again, I guess, because it's like, I don't know, we rarely see like, Vixana carrying the game, right? So
yeah,
I mean, at least maybe it's just me, but I think Vixana is the type of hero, if you pick, you kind of want to have more damage maybe from the roamer or from the jungler. It's not that big of damage probably, or but to be honest, last game there was what target, like you cannot target Xborg properly with Vixana. It's kind of burst, but what you burst, you burst Firaga and he just roll out and that's it, and you wasted all your skills. You're trying to burst Minotaur, but can actually dodge it with his own ultimate and even counter attack. So Vixana was kind of not favorite in that game.
Yeah. So in this matchup that we're seeing, it's gonna be the Guinevere from Fireflux. Remember last time, like the Nolan, they didn't even think about like picking that up, but it's the Joy. Now Ruby's open. We know for sure that it's not the most successful hero, but so is Barrett, which I believe was also banned out in the previous game, very early on. So, but Fireflux might go for the Valentina, maybe, because I can't remember if it wasn't banned actually. So what do you feel? Maybe Nana here for Fireflux?
Nana is absolutely good here, but Ruby's good as well. There's a lot of heroes to pick. We have a lot of heroes like Nolan. Nobody prioritizes Nolan, but I guess you should understand how to play with Nolan. These times teams are prioritizing more of like farm tanky heroes, aggressive early like Martis, and doing great actually, taking MVP last game. So why wouldn't you go again for it, right?
Yeah, don't fix what's not broken. But it's Barrett's and the Vixana as well from Burnix Flash. What do you answer now for Fireflux? You need a little bit of constant damage. I think that they might go for Claude Nana again, right, for Fireflux.
Claude Nana, yeah. Claude was working super good. Not in terms of early game though, but being pressured by the Bruno. And Nana, just like you called, and the Claude. I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
You just go for it. You already taken Ruby, who gonna probably play Roam and gonna help kind of this early aggression if the Burn wanna go for it, and the Xborg as well. I mean, don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly. It worked so much. It worked so well in the previous game. I think Alien is catching his drift already, catching his rhythm with this particular hero. Because I say that because what I noticed was he knew exactly the limits of his hero, right? So there wasn't any feeding that you saw coming up from Alien in the game. Although sometimes it was scary because his Firaga was popped, but it looked really consistent for Fireflux Esports. Now there is the claw that was snatched by Burnix Flash, so that's very much understandable. I wonder if there is. I think that if you're Burnix Flash, you definitely have to ban the Minotaur now.
This is
right.
But you know what they are going? They using last pick as a ban, basically taking Claude, and now they're gonna close even more of marksmen here. I'm not quite sure it's a good strategy because I feel like Sunshine have a lot of wide variety of heroes. We spoke about Nolan, Nathan here, all being picked on the gold lane as well. So I don't think, and he got banned as well. But there's Bruno. There's a lot of stuff he can take.
So there is a chance that for the Minotaur. Maybe Burnix Flash steals it because they're the first pick in the second phase. That could be a potential. But I believe that Fireflux, if they get their hands on that hero, it counters the Claude. It's great with the Nana and the X-Borg, as you saw from the previous game. But then because of the fact that the Ruby was already picked up, maybe Fireflux are considering, okay, this is already a Roam Ruby, and then there's already the X-Borg. So yeah, maybe the Minotaur will not be the choice anymore. Nevertheless, Burnix Flash can still have that as their choice of roamer to go up against this X-Borg as well as this Nana. So that's good. And there's also heal that you can sustain so that you can walk up the bushes and not be that afraid of the Nana. Another hero that is played against Nana Ruby is the Grok. So that could also be, but it's the Rafaela for Burnix Flash. Yeah, makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah. Now, if Fireflux go for Minotaur, is suddenly not that effective because everybody can kite him. I mean, kinda kite him, and that's a good factor. And now Fireflux got to answer with some type of constant damage output to the front lane. But now it's going to be hard. Bruno might not work here. Maybe something, maybe even Leslie, something like Leslie I'm thinking about. Maybe they might go,
not?
or like maybe Brody, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Paquito Ban is interesting
perhaps?
as well. Harith, might be.
Might be. But I do like the Leslie that you brought up because it deals so much damage. It's out of range of the Vexana, but they just go
went
back
straight
to
for
the
it.
Bruno. Yeah.
And
understandable. Don't try to go for difficult heroes. Just go for standard plays, and maybe you can just outplay your opponent after that. Burnix Flash, you're gonna be looking for their XP laner against the Bruno. Maybe Yuzhong. That's the only hero that I
it's
can
not
pick up.
that good. I mean, Alien is the good player on the X-Borg, and if X-Borg is good, I think Yuzhong cannot prevail on the lane unless X-Borg makes mistakes only in this thing. Oh, this one is interesting. Obvious, a lot of jumps here, but I mean, he's not that good that he used to be, not dealing that high damage with his ultimate, but we'll see. I like the pick. And interesting as well. And Baraz can actually counter Nolan quite badly if he hits with his Detona's Welcome.
Yeah. So the idea for the Phobius obviously is to counter the Nolan, which we know is a direct counter because the dashes and you always have access to the Nolan. So obviously that's a good thing, but we'll see if this will be successful. Like I said, Phobius is not as strong as it used to be, but in I would say the right conditions, yeah, sure, maybe this could be an opening for them.
Yeah, and we're going to game number 2. Potential match point here for Fireflux. And game starts from the mid lane. As usual, Ruby is a roamer. I mean, that's kind of to be expected. Being slightly pressured on the mid lane by the Rafaela and Vexana, rotating towards X-Plane yet again.
You can see that Xborg going up against Phobius. I mean, the Phobius will have a good time in the clashes, but against Xborg, I think I'm gonna give it to the Xborg. You have the Brave Smite, you have a lot of staying power in that lane. Phobius can do anything to you as the Xborg, so I think this is still a very good lane for Alien.
Yeah. I think Fovius not gonna like lose it, but he's not gonna win it. He's gonna kind of,
you're right.
I guess, lose it on the tempo. Oh, it was the ultimate probably used right away and tried to pick up the Ruby here for potential pressure, but not gonna happen.
Great understanding coming out from Apex 47. As you saw, he immediately flickered because he knew that Rindo can just pop the ultimate, and he survives that. Nolan is having a decent time farming.
Oh, he's now going. He might lose his stacks now. If just Apex just went a little bit back and but no.
But no, indeed. However, this is Rafaela Barrett's very strong when it comes to neutral objectives. The staying power of Burnix Flash is actually really high right now. So that's definitely the advantage they have. But Alien, look at him behind enemy lines, pops the ultimate, not even waiting for the stacks. And that means that TNZ will secure the turtle. That's just a zoning last insanity. They want to go for TNZ this time. I'm your ATM. Not much mana, gets out. And the Fireflux snatches the Lord, the turtle, I mean.
Yeah, nice, very good played. I would like to see the replay of that because it seemed like they popped almost all Firaga during last Insanity and kind of stopped and just ran away, which is the mistake. So, but it might be they don't have absolutely no resources to proc it, but you really want to like proc it during the mid. Or meanwhile, Rafaela gets wildly picked on the top lane.
Wow, that was quick that we saw from Fireflux Esports, now leading again in early stages of the game. Burnix Flash, like I said, their draft is winnable, I would say, but it's gonna be tricky. Rindo wants to go for the top lane, but obviously no follow-up, so he just wants to take this Scaled Lizard. But Apex 47 is stopping him from doing so.
Yeah, Baraz is playing so aggressive, but actually on the gold chart, they 1k gold have 1k gold deficit already, and there's 30 seconds for the turtle, but the top lane probably is going to get pressured by the burn, and that's exactly what they should do to maximize the Barat's potential here, because late game Barat's not gonna do that much that he can do now.
Yeah. The Fireflux Esports is holding on to this small lead, but very substantial in the early stages. TNZ looks at the purple buff and actually spots out where Burnix Flash is. Might just go for his own purple, which means that the turtle, for the second turtle, will be great for Burnix Flash. Fireflux are just gonna forgo this. Unless, okay, so TNZ with the Heptaseas, they want to fight this. They still want to fight. Vexana with the ultimate. That's the Ruby ultimate as well. TNZ reaches and takes the turtle. They get a kill as well. On to Rindo. It comes to Phobius. Demonic Force activated, but no damage for now. Apex 47 actually attracts I'm Your ATM. And I'm Your ATM didn't have enough mana to continuously pop the ultimate. And that means that Fireflux Esports again wins the neutral objective.
Yeah, yet again. But like, Burnix Flash kinda didn't realize. Nice pick up on Rafaela yet again on a red buff of the enemy. Burnix Flash kinda didn't realize that Nolan is on the purple buff and he's farming his purple buff and he's not on the turtle, so they kinda should rush this turtle, and yeah, and they was taking it slowly, which required which opened the window for Alien to come here and spin his ultimate, and Nolan is there, so yeah, I don't know, they taking it slowly, but should they?
A lot of gold advantage now for Fireflux in the early stages, and I wish I knew the answer to that question is, should they be playing this in a different pace. But unfortunately, Burnix Flash will have to suffer this. Okay, they want to go for Amir ATM, commits the flicker for now. The turtle coming up soon, that's 20 seconds. Rindo finds TNT. And that is actually retribution coming out from Rindo. And all of a sudden, Owl is here. They want to push. It's not going to be enough. For now, though, Daytona's Welcome connects on to Apex 47. Very tanky at this point, but eventually goes down. Not much at the expense of Burnix Flash.
Yeah, this finally turtle might come for burn here, third turtle, but I'm kind of surprised. Last Insanity was used just to run away, but still decided, just like last game, went aggressively on, exploding on 3 people, but result in almost nothing.
Oh
Nolan goes in just to finish off Rafaela yet again, low HP, Barats 1k HP going into the base, using his retribution just to slow down, and good, dragging Nana into the turret range with forced both passive and the flicker, which is good from one side, but meanwhile turtle being farmed as well.
You see the timing, like after the retribution, the turtle, Rosa had extra shields, and look at that snag kill. VJ out, not even able to use the skill. That's Insanity onto the left side, while Demonic Force onto the right side. It's gonna be Flux Esports claiming 1 kill onto KLVJ, as well as the turtle. So, well, there's a bonus skill, no flicker for Amir ATM.
Snowball seemed like he's snowballed out of control. Using Nolan is insanely aggressive, and the welcome here on the Ruby, followed by the Rafaela's baptism, but not resulted anything. Cloud damage is just enough. Sorry, a Ruby's counter-attack, but
last Insanity used, that burst coming up from TNZ. They will be able to catch Alien. No, the flicker to the left side. And that means that Fireflux will get away with murder. Rindo out, they take the turret as well. And they're staying in here. The Astro's Eye just fending off Fireflux. But that is a lot of advantage that Fireflux Esports are able to get.
Yeah, the Fireflux is doing like showing the burn, like how they should treat the objective on the last game. They should go much more aggressively, and that's exactly what Fireflux is doing. They just jump with Last Insanity right under turret just to zone out the enemies and let your team farm the objective. That's exactly what you should do. I just had a question on the mid lane. Why Vixana used her ultimate just and push the mid lane? This is like, I'm not sure you should do that in this kind of matchups when you have a lot of enemies around you. You kind of want to use it for more like damage on the enemies and trying to win it instead of just summoning 0.5 version of the Lord.
Oh, look at that. They want to go in. They're actually forcing Burnix Flash to retreat, but it comes in as well. But that's just a bait. They will take out Rindo as well as the Rafaela. Now Apex 47 will try and run away. That's just the Rupee. And look at the defense letting do it. It's going to be popped. Apex 47 down. Sunshine is low, but it's safe for now. Owl now compromised to the backlines. They might go into the last Insanity round 2. The burst is there. Kill VJ, the only one left, but not for long. That's a wipeout. Fireflux wipes the floor with Burnix Flashes.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you are in this position as a Barats, when you ult, you become a stationary target and you get immediately bursted down, you know you're in a bad spot. Like, you all ult into the Ruby under the second turret and being just obliterated by Nolan and the rest of the, like, splash AoE damage, that's a bad thing. Now you can't even ult properly with the Barats.
Whew. Scary, scary stuff that we're seeing from Flux Esports. They're so decisive. And they got the Lord just like that, even under the turret of Burnix Flash. They knew that they have immense amount of gold over Burnix Flash, and that's why they had the green light to actually go for that. And because Alien's ultimate is very low cooldown, look at him just destroy Burnix Flash, tick them down. Now manning the front lines. Holy Defense activated up top. While into the mid lane, they took the turret already. And this is the Lord.
Going under third turret, working on last
Insanity.
insanity proc, just like last time, just to zone out the enemy is absolutely right thing to do in order to have more pressure on the objective. Bottom lane already fallen, which means Mega Minions going to go for the bot lane. Top lane being pressured as well, but not that much as a bot lane. And seems like Fireflux gonna retreat and enjoy just enemy buffs here.
No. Be satisfied with that. Gonna be taking the inhibitor down the bottom lane. So this is such a massive lead already that Fireflux has. Gonna be looking at the items for now. 9.9k compared to 5k. That's the jungler difference is a sum total of 2 items.
Oh,
That's how
yeah.
massive
How do
the
you
lead
tank
is.
that?
Seems impossible. You're gonna have to wait for
No
18
wind.
minutes.
No wind of nature on Claude as well, and might be bursted down, to say the least, by just one touch of Nolan and Bruno.
Yeah. High potential for that to happen. They're just waiting for now. They have nothing else to do. They're recalling when they're not seen, by the way.
I
so
mean,
only
they
the viewers
have
can see that.
they have things to do. It means they are already thinks they won the game, and they should claim the top jungle here to not let enemy go out and farm even something. But they decided to like go back, but I don't think they're gonna be punished for that. But still,
Yeah,
there's always stuff to do on the land of Dawn.
Yeah. That's right. And that stuff might be the purple buff that if you're looking at Fireflux Esports, that might be their target. You're seeing them set up this bush. And then Rindo just can't even look at that purple buff for now. Oh, he's gonna step in. This is crucial. But then Fireflux says, okay, we don't need that purple buff anymore. Let's just go for the Lord. Look at how quickly they're taking it as well.
Yeah.
So
Nolan
fast.
is just spamming every bit of damage he has. Nolan, I mean, Lord gonna spawn in 20 seconds. That's Nolan probably gonna farm the jungle here and prepare themselves for final attack here. Going for double minion, then go for purple and probably on the top lane where Fireflux already waiting here.
Slowly. A slow, steady push from Fireflux. Scary. It's very, very scary. Up top, they're pushing the lane. Bottom lane, there is the Lord that was on his lonesome. Good so-called teamwork. And Astro side, there's a lot of displacement from Burning Splash. Fat minion of waves up top, as well as the bottom. And this is going to be a crucial push. Brindo doesn't have the proper amount of stacks for now. They're going to take out the Vexana ultimate like a boss. As easily as that. And they are able to push the turret up top.
Yeah, and meanwhile on the bot lane, Lord is already on the base being farmed by the Claude here, and all of minions are farmed. Mid lane minions coming into mid lane, and Bruno already started to work in Baras here, trying to use his second skill on the Bruno, but not gonna happen. All inhibitor turrets fallen. I'm offended, plus flicker initiation, plus last insanity on the Fovius here. Fovius dies already, not even able to use his own ultimate. Minions spawned and being farmed. It's a crystal game. Gonna be 3 hit on Vexana by Bruno, already fallen, and the Ballista low HP is still available for Fireflux to push the crystal, and the 4 people dead, and it's gonna be the game number 2.
That is Fireflux Esports with 2 back-to-back dominating games to sweep Burn X Flash in a snap, in a flash. They're all gone, and Fireflux are they just came out to play War Barbie. They just showed us how dominant they can be in the Land of Dawn.
Yeah, they truly are. They deserve this victory because they just showed the class here, and they just better players in this game. I mean, this best of 3.
Yeah. Game 1 was definitely also a draft issue, an early game issue for the side of Burnix Flash. But this game number 2, it was quite tricky because it's definitely winnable on their side, but it's just that a lot of disasters happened after one another, and then they couldn't recover afterwards. We could see through the highlights what happened. The first turtle of the game is very important, as and the second as well, as Tianzi secures that. Even when he had to go to the purple buff, he was just in time for that play. Then you can see Rindo committing the ultimate and then connecting with a kill onto just Apex 47, but they weren't able to push the turret afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like a small frustration action here for Burning Slash, because it seems like they are not fully committing into their like using their skills into the enemy. They kind of like holding half of the skills, and that's where the damage is not being able to connect on the enemy. And the Claude here is not like doing what the Claude should do, like over farm and just carry the game. Seems like Nolan the one who's carrying the game with just his damage and the snowball items.
Yeah. Looking real dominant for Flux Esports, and this is the quarterfinals. You can see that they knew the limits of their hero. They know that they have so much farm over Burning Splash that they can actually make in that play. Like TNZ forcing the wind of nature afterwards. What is Owl to do? He can't even like position himself there. And even the Rafaela, Miko, they just really dove that because they have immortality and they have the passives. They have all of the resources that they need for the dive to be aggressive. And indeed, they secured the game, and the series, in fact, with a very dominant showing.
Yeah, and it was relatively easy in my opinion, and now Xborg gets his MVP finally, 32% damage, which is insane. And the and the later on top of that, just for like extra region, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my, that's there's just a lot of dominance coming out from Alien. I think this is something that you have to really take note of now and really guard yourself against Flux Esports, because Alien, my oh my, he's really, really good playing in this X-Borg. You can see he didn't die again, right? So he's well calculated, especially the first turtle fight where we know that the Barretts has a lot of staying power. What he did was to zone them out with the last insanity and allow TNZ to secure that turtle. Then so many times in this game, the positioning was way easier for Flux because there's that X-Borg that zones out the enemy. And even when they picked up the Phobius, right? Of course, it makes a lot of sense going up against the Nolan. But if you think about it, in the laning stage, I'm your ATM can't do anything because that's the X-Borg. You can't survive the X-Borg in the laning stage.
Yeah, it's a questionable draft for Burning Splash. Seems like a lot of heroes were like not working for them, and I don't think, don't get me wrong, I don't think Burn like can't play these heroes. I think they just not prepared mentally for this best of three, because it seemed like both of the game Vixana was more of like on the useless side, and let's put it this way, and Rafaela kind of was like no one to help here, just roaming around being picked by Nolan every time, and Claude is doing not another. It's like this, I think, is a mental aspect of the preparation which gone wrong for the Burn Flash.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you. And even when they have experienced players, Owl and Rindo already have experienced international tournaments. Even Miko and KelVJ, they themselves have proven that they are the veterans. Even KelVJ is a champion, an MSC champion, right? So there's a lot of experience already, but it seems like as a team, they just couldn't find the good opening. So unfortunately, they couldn't recover afterwards. That has been our first series, War Barbie, and it will go in favor of Flux very, very quickly. For now, I think we have a video prepared for our viewers, War Barbie. Before we head into series number 2, which I know that you're all excited about, why don't we watch this video?
world that seeks a balance between metaverses and healthy lifestyle, video games and traditional sport, live shows and web entertainment, we found the only way to harmony. Introducing a new era in the realm of sports, Phygital, a revolutionary fusion of the physical and digital worlds. This is an unparalleled mix of the most exhilarating and dynamic youth sports disciplines, all integrated with popular video games and cutting-edge technological devices. This unique sports format is accessible to all. Anyone can participate in Phygital competitions. Any sport has the potential to evolve into a Phygital experience. Football, basketball, hockey, racing, martial arts, shooters, and many other sports have successfully adapted to the new reality. The 2024 Games of the Future is a global multi-sport event that represents the pinnacle of Phygital sports worldwide. The event is attended by best clubs and teams, bringing together 2,000 participants from over 100 countries. It marks the beginning of a series of top Phygital tournaments that will take place annually worldwide. The current official program of Games of the Future includes 21 innovative disciplines. They are classified into 5 groups, which we refer to as challenges: sports, technology, speed, tactics, and strategies, openness, show, fun, and healthy lifestyle. Coming our way is the exciting Phygital era. So stay tuned, join our global Phygital community, and come over to the upcoming Games of the Future. Emerge as winners and heroes of the new era. Games of the Future, made for young generations.
And we are back in action. This is going to be the 4th series of the day. We've just witnessed Flux win in a very, very dominant fashion up against Burnix Flash. It was a 2-0. Both were one-sided. And now we're going to be moving on to our next series. It's Team Flash going up against Royal Cyber Sports Club. You know, Warbar B, I've casted a lot of Team Flash and I can say a lot of stuff about them, but I want to ask you about Royal Cyber Sports, or RCC. What did they look like? What is their? What do you think is their?
And I can say about RCC a lot as well. So they are very strong, very experienced players, veterans of this game, and I played alongside like half of them and coached like second half of them, which is kind of hilarious, but I can tell that they switched this mid laner for Troublemaker and the X-Planer, which is Castle, who are super strong players, especially Castle. He's playing super aggressively on the X-Plane, and Troublemaker always uses like all of the opportunities he's get on the mid lane to make kills. Have pretty unorthodox pool, I would say. Like Gushin on mid lane can appear, like Khalid on the X plane, like ganking all the map can appear as well. So I like the play style of these two heroes, players. One Shot is a super versatile player who can play jungle on absolutely any run, super talented. Gold laner Weiser is I would say on the downside of the team, has not that big of a pool and kinda like not understanding the flow of the game, but still, if team wins, he gonna help the team win, but he's probably most likely not gonna carry the game. And the Kupi is a good strategic player who can understand the game good, but the execution might not be on the point. So that's my review of the team for you.
Well, thank you so much. That's a very very detailed description of the team, and I'm sure that all of the viewers out there watching are now more familiar with the RCC. Now, apart from the players, of course, we have to also talk about the actual strength or the power level of this team. When they went up against Nightmare Esports, it was also like back-to-back one-sided games. They look really strong. They're just like destroying every part of the lane, every part of the laning stage up until the mid game, and that's where they ended. But now when they went up against a team like Blacklist International, they were stomped in game number 1. But game number 2, that is when we saw the strength of this team, right? So, it lasted 20 minutes. Although they lost against Blacklist, it was a very close match and they could have won it. So, what do you think are because when I asked you about Burnix Flash as well as Fireflux, you were able to identify that they're in the middle, right? So I wonder if you have a rating for that for RCC. Where do you place them in the rankings that we have for the playoffs?
Yeah, I would say they are in a solid middle with the potential to go for like upper side of middle ranked like player because I mean considering there is let's say low, mid and high, only three of them, so upper mid is actually good.
That's true. That's it's actually very true. So now they're going to be facing up against a team that's, I would say, they're not. Their experience is also like in the middle, right? So the members of Team Flash have always participated in international tournaments, and this is mainly because of the region that they're playing. If you're looking at Team Flash, they are from Singapore, so there are no names like JPL is there, Diablo. And then Vanix, actually one of their newer players, but Diablo as well as JPL, they have been playing international scene for a long time now. You can even trace it back to the first season or the first iteration of the M1 World Championship, where most of these players have already represented their region. So what I'm trying to say here is they have the experience in international tournaments and they can perform. However, the main reason why they are able to get into the international scene is because of the fact that they came from the APLSG region, right? So when you look now at their performance as a team, it now looks very interesting because they have Hades and now they have Curtizi, both players that have international caliber. But when you group them up together, it seemed like they aren't that coordinated. That's why when they faced up against Onyx, they couldn't even do anything in the early stages. Onyx just literally destroyed them. They had to survive KBG just to get in the spot. So those are that's my idea of how Team Flash is gonna play in this game. That's what I can think of when they are going up against RCC. So now the question, War Barbie, is how tight will this matchup be, and who do you think is more favored in this matchup?
Oh, I think RCC are the slight favorite in this matchup, just because of confidence coming from these 3 of the 5 players and the strategic aspect which might occur from the captain of the team. And yeah, I think it's going to be enough to win the game. But if Flash aggressively win the mid lane, they are going to be favorites. So I'm not quite sure what to expect from the team. But if they go into like control the mid lane a lot and slightly pressure jungle and not lose the signed lanes, so I think they're gonna prevail on RCC. Yeah. It just my call goes because I not quite have a lot of information how they're gonna play the game.
Okay, and that's good for the region. In fact, for the region that they came from, and obviously they're the home crowd favorites, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, will we consider them the home crowd favorites now?
RCC?
Yeah, RCC.
No, I think Deus Vult was the home crowd favorite, but you never know. So the preparation again, we saw like the Deus Vult lost Homeboys, and it seems like Homeboys prepared well. I would say prepared respectfully for the Deus Vult, which we couldn't saw from the Deus Vult. Not really, like, seemed like underestimated the Homeboys. So if Flash not gonna underestimate RCC and they actually like review a lot of matches and think about like draft ban and how you should approach game and in the right way, Like,
Yeah.
like in a wrong way. I mean, you can like do like, okay, let's draft this thing and just wait for the late game. This is not how you draft. Like, so if they're not
Yeah.
doing this kind of mistakes, I mean, they
Yeah.
might prevail.
Yeah. And if we look back at Team Flash, right? We already talked about both JPL and Diablo. I want to also bring up like Hades as well as Cortese, because now I know a lot about these players, and I've actually had a chance to talk to and handle and actually train Hades. I've worked with him before, and he's one of those players that has not been really the favorites when it comes the actual favorite when it comes to like the jungle choice in the Philippines, just because of the fact that there are so many good junglers in the Philippines. But when he went to Indonesia and now when he went to Singapore, he's actually one of the better junglers out there. Now, I think he shown when he became an import from other regions, because now he has shown that he can play utility junglers as well as assassin junglers, right? So there's a lot of flexibility for Hades, and I'm excited to see how they perform. But most importantly, Cortese. This guy is a very experienced player, and if you don't know, Cortese is actually part of the team that eventually got into the M2 World Championship. Yeah, but he was part actually of the M2 World Championship representation of Omega. So Cortese is a veteran, and he's really good at playing, and he transferred from the EXP lane to now the mid lane, and he really can perform for the team, and he really shines in many important moments.
I wanted to bring the thing you said about being good at assassins and also being good on the utility type of junglers. I think this is a mistake we can see a lot of times when player is like extremely good on assassins, like he's like his micro skills like top notch, and and suddenly his team like decide for him to play some like utility type of hero. So I'm not sure it's a good idea if you have such a good player. Like imagine like Lancelot just carrying the game, or like just carrying the game to just help your team carry the game. And so I hope we're not gonna see this kind of exchange in the draft, and we'll see the full potential of the assassins. I would love to see that.
I share the same sentiment, man. I do want to see more assassins played by the junglers. I just love seeing that kind of dynamic where they're trying to really out-rotate their opponents and then burst down, the squishy supports. However, it's just how the meta game works now. If you are a jungler, you have to be prepared to play both assassins as well as utility jungler. You just cannot compromise anymore, because depending on the situation, a utility jungler will be much better, and depending on the situation as well, an assassin jungler might be the better choice. So I think that overall, for the jungler, as much as I would love to see more assassins played in the jungle role, War Barbie, you gotta have to really consider studying how to play the utility junglers. It's just how it is now.
I mean, and Ruby and Arlott type of heroes, if there's this kind of heroes in the enemy team, I absolutely understand the not willing to go for the jungle assassin. But yeah, I was thinking about at least me, I saw this kind of sometimes like they go with these barats like for like no particular reason for go to barats, and just because meta dictates like we go in barats, and I was thinking about this kind of drafts.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the drafts eventually. I don't know when we should start the draft. I think it's gonna be coming pretty soon. I do want to talk about some of the other heroes that needs considering. I think that Ruby Well, wow, that's I think that we're on point actually, War Barbie. But anyways, we already know how strong the Ruby can be from this previous series, and maybe that is also a priority for both of these teams. And this is RCC. That's One Shot. That's Castle. That's Troublemaker. That's Wiser. And that's Goopy. What can we say about this team, man? What else can we say about the team? I mean,
it's a strong team. Mostly decided now I mean, the draft gonna decide a big part of it, but yeah, I think they have a lot of potential to prevail in this matchup. But yeah, let's mention this topic after the draft, probably.
yeah, for sure. We are seeing Team Flash. That's Vanix, JPL. You have the two Filipinos, Curtizi and Hades. And of course, one of the Singaporean veterans, Diablo. Always been part of this, of the MPL Singapore scene, and always have been representing the region so well. So you gotta have to be excited about that team. Now, when we look at the composition that we are seeing from Team Flash, one thing that I do want to note is that Diablo is not your typical kind of explainer that will just settle for those standard pickups like your sustain heroes. In fact, Diablo has been known since MSC of 2023 that he is an explainer that's willing to go for specialty kind of picks, like your Badang actually played in the explainer. Plays well.
I love
He's
that.
actually, I do love that. And then of course the Kali that now is a situational pick, but before it was a very niche pick that almost always just is on the hands of Diablo. But yeah,
he used to be like
That's
now
right.
he's not that aggressive, but still can be quite aggressive.
Yeah.
But earlier, like 3 spins and like no HP level 1, yeah, why wouldn't you use that, right? And yeah, I like that. I hope we are going to see one of these 3 heroes like Badang, Khalid, Terizla, because I like when people play good with these 3 guys.
yeah. So, do expect some weird pickups now in this particular matchup. I wonder though, is RCC a team that's also like very experimental when it comes to their draft? Would we see some random pickups in the upcoming series, do you think?
Yeah, we saw one already. We saw Tisla Rome actually, and went really good. I mean, to be honest, I think against that kind of like enemies didn't understood what to do with this kind of pressure, and this was one of the reasons why Trizla works so well as a roamer. So it might be not that effective against the team who understands better what to do with this kind of early game aggression. Yeah, that's being said, but still Terizla was a good roamer in the game. So yeah, we might see pretty good pickups, because we already saw on a different tournament, I believe on M5 wild card, the Troublemaker was actually playing, and they went for like mid lane Gaussian with Petrify and jungle Lapu Lapu, for example. So yeah, Hellcard was an opportunity for them as well. I knew they could pick that. I'm not quite sure they're gonna do this in this game, but there are chances, if you ask.
Yeah, which makes me very excited about this matchup, because maybe this is the time where we really cannot expect some of our some of the heroes and the pickups. Like if I remember correctly, well, I do remember it, when Burnix Flash was facing up against Onyx, they picked up the Barats early on. It wasn't a jungle Barats. It wasn't an EXP lane Barats. It's a mid lane Barats that Curtizi picked. It lost, however. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Well, it was a high caliber team like Onyx. But my point is, there could be exciting heroes that will be picked up that's out of the meta. But there can also be heroes that are in the meta but played in a different manner, like the mid lane Barrett. So this is a really exciting draft that we can expect from the two teams.
Yeah, I hope they're gonna go for it. And yeah, Lapu Lapu was a mid laner as well. So RCC are actually like, it shows on this tournament already that they love to do these draft tricks when you, which you mentioned earlier, like when you pick kind of hero who can go either on X plane, on jungle, or even on roam maybe, and this type of stuff. And yeah, but I was mentioning this kind of thing that it's not as effective as it seems like, because I mean you can fool your opponent into the draft. You make them believe you already drafted like jungle, for example, and they start banning the explainers, and then suddenly you pick the like jungler because you already pick explain. But yeah, that's good and fun and stuff, but it all goes to execution and tempo and how efficient you with your time. So you can do that, yeah, but it not necessarily like gives you upper hand in the game.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's like not because you are experimental, not because you're creative, it means that you're already winning, right? It's not a it doesn't work that way. And that's also the case in point when Burnix Flash went up against Onyx, the team that they're definitely the team to beat. Like they're the runners up of the recent M5 World Championship. And although you're tempted to try out heroes and hero compositions that are creative, or at least more in the creative side, and try to outplay your opponents with that kind of a mentality, it does not instantly work, as as was proven by their opponents. So yep, although we'd like to see some weird pickup, it's not an automatic win. All right. So now that we're talking about heroes, we already talked about like the outrageous pickups, but what else? What can we expect from RCC? What's their go-to kind of composition? How do they usually approach the draft?
I think they more on like patient side on the mid lane. This is, I think they are missing this kind of aggression on the mid lane, but they went for Kaja already, which is like, I don't know, it was so like questionable game, because like when enemy doing like big mistakes, it's pretty easy to initiate on them, right? If somebody just casually run around, you just flick in and hook him, divine judgment, and there's a kill. But what if like enemy play actually better like against this type of hero? So this is the open question still, because enemy team in that particular game was making a lot of mistakes which open windows for initiation. But what if the more experienced team is going to like zone out and outdraft them? Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do, but in terms of aggression, they might go, I think their go is going to be for either super aggressive roamer or like the support type of roamer.
Okay.
This is a mage is just gonna feel.
Yeah, I think now the converse, when I look at the games of Team Flash, and then when I look at specifically the player Curtizi, they find success around Curtizi if Curtizi plays poke heroes, or those heroes that are kind of stationary, just sits in the back lines, you know. Obviously, Curtizi can play the aggressive mages, but I think when it comes to like, you know, what is the more reliable kind of playstyle for Team Flash, you have your mid lane onto the back lines, just going for poke, going for those nuke type of damages that has a lot of distance, and he really outplays his opponents like that. That's where they become successful. So I would assume that it will be a little bit slower as well for Team Flash. You know, they're gonna just take it patiently this time. They're not a very explosive team. Even when they're called Team Flash, the way that they're playing right now is a little bit slower compared to other teams. So maybe that's what we can expect from Team Flash.
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually opens up the window for RCC to kind of draft more aggressively, and maybe go into their jungle earlier and gain some advantage at that department. We'll see what team is ready for this, because if you're RCC, you're watching the matches and they like, okay, they're doing like this slow draft, so let's just go aggressive. But on the Flash side, they might watch RCC games and like, okay, they want to go aggressive like early, we shouldn't go. So it's more like a mental games.
Yeah, it's always like that. Now I can't wait to see the draft actually, because I'm excited to see how they will approach this. I will be quite disappointed if it will be like just a standard game where you pick up Vixana versus Nana or Valentina versus Novaria. Then you're gonna see like perhaps like your typical Yuzhong Lapu-Lapu in the XP lane, a Barretts versus Fredrin, which is, by the way, very highly likely in this particular matchup because it's an elimination game anyways. But that is how we that's just how this dynamic between two teams might happen.
Yeah, interesting. Can't wait to see especially Badang on the lane, going like full damage build, focusing mages and gold laners, and maybe assassins jungle as well. Like, you know, if he gets his items early, he gonna just one-shot people with his ultimate, and I'm stoked to see that.
Yeah. Okay, I think so much of our viewers are actually like interacting with us. They're listening to us for quite a long time now. Once we are waiting for the game, please be patient with us, guys. We do not have the power to start the game immediately, and we do hope that you will remain patient with us. We're just waiting.
Okay, I'm gonna start the game right now. Okay. Oh, it started, but we can't see.
That's right. No, you just have to imagine for now. Okay. Why don't we look at the other teams that are successful, man? I'm just gonna ask you because we've been talking about the teams that we are casting, but in a way, we also have to talk about the other playoff matches because, for example, when Twisted Minds won against Burmese Schools, when Burmese Schools won against Twisted Minds earlier, they will be facing up against a team like RQ Hoshi, and that's scary, right?
That's the team you would like to dodge in the grid.
Yeah, actually, all of the quarter finalists that we have.
Yeah.
Imagine this: RQ Hoshi, AP Bread, Blacklist, and Onyx. How do you choose? How do you choose who you want to face?
Final clash. Like who do you think is the favorite of this tournament? I guess it's one of these 4 teams or 3.
For sure. The thing is, okay, so I want to make a case for RQ Hoshi just because they have an interesting dynamic. But when I just look at if you were to ask me who's gonna win the tournament, just basing off of whatever happened in the the group stages, it could be Onyx versus Blacklist. But unfortunately, that will not be the case no matter what in the grand finals. That will not be the grand finals match because of the single elimination format that we have. But I said that because both Blacklist and Onyx are dominant in their wins. And if you look at AP Brand, they had a 30-minute game. RQ Hoshi kind of struggled a little bit in the early stage, so that's what I feel. But how about you? Who do you think is like the top 2 at least?
I think it's should be in between of RQ Hoshi and Onyx, I guess. I felt like the Blacklist is not the Blacklist they was, like, because of 2 players replacing, but the replacements are catching up super good with like team tempo, I would say. They understand it really good, but not quite the same they used to play. So I think they not going to in this top 2, but hey, I gotta choose. Like it's not 100% it's gonna happen, but still.
Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna be seeing the players walk into the stadium. That's Royal Cyber Sport Club. We're gonna be walking to that. And is there any player that we should be looking out for really quickly? War Barbie, who is like the ace in the hole for this team?
Yeah, I guess the one shot. I guess the one shot is like the ace for these games, and he might. I mean, he whatever he picks, he always plays good. So I think if his like mentality is on point today, you know, because it can vary between the days, and but I think he can carry like pretty much any hero he picks. So
yeah,
if I gotta choose one player, it's gonna be him.
All right, and then now you're gonna be seeing Team Flash. That's Vanix, their gold laner. And of course, Curtizi, new addition to the team. Their mid laner for now, JPL, a veteran in the Singapore region as the roamer. Hades from the Philippines already won a championship for them. Adamir, we did not see him play from the previous matches, but he is a very strong player, a fighter as well, fighter main. You also have Diablo, current XP laner for the team. That is Team Flash. Now, if there is a player to watch out for, I can easily say it's Hades, actually. Obviously, Curtizi is a good addition to the team, but so far when it comes to like consistency, Hades can really just... It's not even like carrying the team, it's like activating the team. That's what I can see from him. It's not like a carry type of player, you know? He's more of like an activator for the team.
Oh, that's even better. So he like amplifies all the team. That's huge. That's actually even better than just carrying the game.
Yeah. And what I do like about this kid, Hades, is very much welcome to very much open to playing any kind of jungler, right? In fact, he's one of those junglers that can still pick up a Hellcurt. There was even a time where there were 5 assassin bans onto Hades and still played Amon to full effect in a very important tournament that was MPL SG final. So he's that kind of a player that has a deep hero pool, not only with assassins but also with utility jungler though.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting because like the one shot is like absolutely the similar player. So I don't know about the activation the team, but speaking about pool of the heroes, for sure it's more like, you know, I was thinking about it a lot. It's more like not the pool of the hero, it's like the mentality he can play wherever he picks. Like he like learn on the fly, like, you know, even if he played like once or a couple of times this hero like months ago, he can still pick it like right now and play to the fullest, just like you said about Amon. Like obviously Hades is not like, no, I mean, I don't think he trained like Amon, right? Like he training to pick him on the tournament. He kind of forced to go with Amon because nothing left, and he played to the fullest. And this is more like not the pool. It's like a player like who can play whatever.
So
whatever hero.
That is a very interesting dynamic now, because we can see like there could even be a point where the junglers will not be the priority anymore, right? Because when we look at the previous series that we were able to cast, and when we were watching the other series, junglers often get picked up as the first 2 picks. Be it blue side, be it red side. It's like one of the priorities. So maybe this is the series where we can see the junglers being flexed or junglers being picked last. So that's a very, very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, that's interesting what they're gonna do. I mean, there's no reason to block some of the junglers. I think we're gonna see like all of them opened. I mean, I don't know, maybe Nolan, no. Okay, Joy is obviously gonna get banned, but Nolan, like, I don't know.
How about Arlott? I guess, you know, are we still in that realm where the Arlott is like a top ban?
Not the top ban, but like it's more of dependent on the team, I think, because we already saw the game before that one. that Arlott is being like absolutely ignored and like didn't even get banned on the additional 2 bans and was picked much later stages. So I think it comes from like the homework when you just watch the your enemy team play and you decide, okay, Arlott is doing like quite a lot, so we're gonna go with ban.
Ooh. One of the first few times we're gonna see like Ruby being banned at literally the first ban. So slot number 1, that's gonna be Ruby. CC from Team Flash. You know what? If we look back at the previous series, it seems like CC is not even considered by
yeah. Last games it was like what, Augsburg. We go Augsburg. I don't know about CC. Augsburg is the one who carries the game, but